Hello everyone. In today's video, I will be sharing how to do metahuman body rigging. In the last session, we modified meshes in various ways in the Mesh Edit tutorial, right? For this character, if you move the eyeball too far back, it overlaps significantly with the base facial mesh. So I moved the eyeball forward again and increased the volume of the eye shell. Like this, some manual adjustments are needed to ensure the eye mesh doesn't interfere when it rotates. Before proceeding with rigging, please check these aspects and make any necessary adjustments beforehand. Great! It's finally time for body rigging. Before we start body rigging, we will reset all the tweak information of the meshes. Click on the U-shaped icon to open tunaUtils. This tool provides various practical and simple scripts. Here, open Delete Mesh Tweak and select all the meshes. When selecting meshes, hold down the Control key to exclude groups. Click the Execute button to reset the vertex information of all the meshes to a clean state. Tweak contains the original vertex deformation information of the mesh. If you don't reset this information, you might encounter problems later. So, before rigging, make sure to use this function as well as Reset Transform to clean up the meshes. Alright, now click on the M icon to open the metahumanSet tool. This tool will support all the functions you need for metahuman body rigging. First, click on the finger icon to load the template. Yes, this is the metahuman body rigging template. The difference from before is that this one is also skinned. Open Body Settings, and instead of the meshes where the body and head are separated, enable the combined LOD0 mesh. First, select the template's body, and then select our character's mesh. Click on the selected copy ref and Attach Mesh button. This feature helps automate the placement of joints. It first creates reference joints and then allows the user to align only the desired joints to these reference joints. It's a powerful tool. If you turn on Ref Attach GRP, you can see that it automatically generates reference joints based on this character. Since the transform of these joints are not exact, you need to adjust them as needed to fit the desired areas. Great. Let's start by aligning our joints to the reference joints. Click on View Ref Joints List for Match to check the joints you want to match. Click Body Joints to Ref Joint Matched to automatically match the joints. It's convenient to match all the joints first and then make adjustments. Let's start by adjusting the wrist. The rotation axis is a mess. Before adjusting this joint, let's find it in the list using Find Selected. Uncheck the checkbox for this joint, so it no longer follows the reference. So don't worry about the joints of the lower structures. Just focus on the rotation and position of the currently selected joint. The reason this is fine is that the lower structure's joints will follow the reference again anyway. Later, we will automatically realign the axes of all these joints. So, don't be afraid to change the current position of the joint. Ideally, the local space coordinates of this joint should align well with the direction and rotation angles, right? Now, let's do the same for the opposite side. Find it and uncheck the checkbox. All right, let's match again now. The wrist rotation angle should be more accurate, and the joints below it should return to their original positions without any issues. The spine looks quite crooked. Let's adjust the spine this time. Select the joint and hold down the D key on your keyboard to independently adjust its position, regardless of its child joints. Please note that this function allows for position adjustments only. Rotation is not possible. Let's focus on adjusting one thing at a time without touching the others. Adjust the spacing as well. You might notice changes in the thigh joints, but just ignore them for now. Focus on properly adjusting the joints you want. As mentioned earlier, we'll tidy up all the axes at once later on. All right, let's focus on the ankles now. Try to make the ankle rotations as horizontal as possible. Also, adjust their positions appropriately. Similarly, find the ankle joints in the list and uncheck their checkboxes. Do this for both sides. Almost forgot. Let's do the same for the spine joints we adjusted earlier. Select all the spine joints, find them in the list, and uncheck their checkboxes. You can right-click to uncheck only the selected items. Let's continue with the neck in a similar manner. Whether you're adjusting translate or rotate, it doesn't matter. The key is to place the joints in the correct positions. For the wrists and ankles, it's crucial to align the rotation angles correctly. However, for the other parts, you don't need to focus on that as much. The reason we focused on adjusting the wrists and ankles first is because there's an up vector system in place that can automatically correct the axes for all other parts, except the wrists and ankles. Let's check the ankles now. The rotation angles should be fine as we adjusted them earlier, right? Also, this feature supports a mirror option. If this checkbox is enabled, it will automatically match the opposite side as well. Furthermore, you can turn off and on the View Ref Joint List for match without resetting the list window. Just be cautious because if you close and reopen the tool, any unchecked items may be lost. The Body Joints Mirror button below performs a function similar to the Mirror checkbox. It operates solely based on the current settings for mirroring functionality. As an example, I'll modify the left clavicle joint. If you want to uncheck all the main body joints at once, click the Unchecked Main Body Ref button. As I mentioned earlier, I'll adjust it while holding down the D key. For the elbow, if the model is straightened at 180 degrees, it's better to bend it slightly inward. Please refer to the screen. Since we're making adjustments, let's also adjust the thigh. Now, except for the main body joints, the other joints will be readjusted to their original positions. This way, you can easily adjust the joint placements. However, the axes of each joint are currently not aligned, right? Let's fix this issue now. First, click the Body Joints Mirror button to ensure that all joints are mirrored from left to right. Now, click the All Joints Axis Align Setting button. You will see that the axes are now properly aligned. However, for the arms, the axis rotation direction is slightly off and not horizontal, right? In this case, turn on the up vector list group within the skeletons group and adjust the up vectors manually. The yellow locators you see on the screen represent the concept of aligning the up direction for each main joint. This one, based on the name, corresponds to the elbow. Let's adjust the up vector locator for the elbow slightly upwards. Now, if we press the Align button again, you'll see that the elbow joint rotates slightly upwards, right? Similarly, let's adjust other areas using this method. Carefully check and select by the locator names, as it can be confusing. Yes, in this way, you can refine the rotation axes of the body joints more precisely. However, we haven't adjusted the opposite side yet. Remember the up locators we adjusted on the left side. Click the U icon to open TunaUtils. Open the Mirror Multi-Objects tab. Select the up locators you adjusted and rename them according to the left and right naming convention. Now go to the opposite side. Click Execute, and you will see that the locators are mirrored accurately. In this state, you can align them in the same way. Of course, if you are using a perfectly symmetrical body, you can align all the axes first, and then use the Body Joints Mirror button to mirror everything at once. However, if you do this and then press the Align button again, the opposite side might not be correctly aligned since the up locators for the opposite side wouldn't be properly positioned, causing misalignment. All right, now let's tackle the notoriously difficult task of adjusting the fingers. The basic placement is somewhat done, but the rotation axes are likely not properly aligned. First, I'll adjust some of the placements before aligning. This process involves setting the up direction for each finger while considering the rotation direction. Beginners might find this confusing, so please refer to the video carefully. For the thumb, since it's positioned at an angle, it's better to set the up direction to the side rather than downward in the scene. For the other fingers, you should set the up direction to be straight down. Great. Now let's align the axes again. Just like before, we'll need to mirror this to the right side as well. Select the up locators and then click Execute in the Mirror Multi-Object tab. Now, when we align again, both sides should be properly aligned. All right, let's reset the current state of the body joints. Currently, the main joints do not have a rotation value of 0, correct? To set them to 0, click the Reset Joints Rotate button. Now, if you check, you'll see that the rotation values of all main joints are set to 0. This step is essential for adjusting the body pose in the future, so it's important to do it now. Now, let's temporarily turn off the group of up locators. Next, we'll reposition the corrective joints in other areas. These joints serve as offset joints for the corrective joints, allowing you to readjust their positions using only the offset joints. Yes, adjust them appropriately to match the volume of the arm. Once you've finished with the left side, you'll need to mirror it to the right side as well. In this case, you can use the body joints mirror function again. However, if the left and right sides of the character model are different, be cautious when using this function. Actually, except for the elbow, you don't need to adjust other parts in such detail. However, I'll make some adjustments to the twist and arm areas. Once you're done with all adjustments, use the mirror function to align the right side as well. Let's also correct the chest area. Just to be safe, I'll reset the rotation values again. Now we will set this current pose as the initial pose. Go to the UE RBF Pose tab. This tab has useful tools for controlling Unreal RBF Pose-related functions. Here we will click the button labeled Set Current Pose to Init Pose UE RBF nodes. This changes the initial position values of all body corrective pose joints to their current values. The initial position values are the offset joint positions, and the corrective joints that track movement will move to these predefined positions. The discrepancy we see now is due to this not being initialized. The moment you click this button, all RBF nodes will reset based on the current pose, and you will see the corrective joints return to their offset positions. This process is crucial to complete before making any pose adjustments in the future. Make sure not to skip this step and always reset the RBF pose values. Now everything is neatly arranged. Let's test the functionality of each part. Yes, it works well. Now let's apply the skin. Go to the Subtools section in the MetahumanSet tool. Then, go to the Auto Skin Load tab. In this tab, you can load multiple skin data for the body and head at once. Our current mesh is named Combined LOD0 Mesh, right? Uncheck all other skin data except for the one with this name. Leave the reference naming as it is. This ensures that if the mesh to which you want to apply the skin is not bind to a skin, it will automatically find and bind the influence joint based on the mesh with the matching name in the current scene. Make sure the mesh name exactly matches the XML file name for the AutoSkin function to work correctly. Great. Now let's click Execute to apply the skin. Now you can see that the character's body moves with the applied skin. It's moving well. Let's check other areas. Some poses will need adjustments. The elbow typically requires some corrections. The thigh area is too exaggerated, isn't it? Let's look at some other parts. The fingers seem okay, though. Starting from next time, we'll be adjusting these poses to create customized movements for each joint for this character. You've done a great job, and I'll see you next time.